Founder Mark Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla are making big news this morning. They have pledged $120 million to the San Francisco Bay Area school system. I had the chance to sit down with Priscilla earlier this week for her first ever television interview. We talked about that generous donation, their beloved dog, and of course, that hoodie. It's funny because I think a lot of people know your name, but there's not that much out there about you. You haven't done a lot of interviews.
No, you're my first.
You kind of avoid the limelight.
I do.
Priscilla Chan was willing to step into the limelight for just a moment for a cause that is literally near and dear. This morning, she and her husband, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg, announced a $120 million commitment to the San Francisco Bay Area school system with the goal of upgrading the classroom and energizing students.
The Bay Area is our home. We've seen firsthand that the quality of education, it really varies in our area, from the highest performing schools to the most underserved of schools.
For Chan, this mission is personal. The kind of kid she and Zuckerberg are hoping to help was the kind of kid she once was, growing up in Quincy, Massachusetts.
I grew up as the child of two immigrant parents who left their home country in refugee boats. My parents worked incredibly hard, my mom working 2 jobs my entire childhood. My grandparents not speaking English, so it was my job from as long as I can remember to interpret for them and help them navigate this country.
What kind of kid were you?
Oh, I was really uptight. I'm the oldest child. I bossed my middle sister around all the time.
Priscilla says it was her public school teachers that helped her discover her potential. What do you think the teachers saw in you? How did they make a difference for you personally?
When you're growing up in your first generation to go to college, you don't know what the potential possibilities are until someone believes in you and says, hey, you could do that.
And Priscilla could. High school valedictorian, voted class genius. She got into Harvard, graduated medical school, and is now a doctor doing residency in pediatrics. But it was her work as a science teacher that caught her husband's eye, got him working as an after-school teacher too, and helped launch his passion for education.
I started noticing that he was sharing my stories with our friends and at work, and I said, wait a minute, those are my experiences.
Why don't you do something?
Yeah, if you want those stories, you earn them, and you need those experiences to help guide what we're doing and trying to create change in the bigger sense.
But trying to create big change is not easy. 4 years ago, Zuckerberg made a $100 million donation to schools in Newark, New Jersey. But recent reports suggest most of that money is now gone, with mixed results at best. Was that frustrating for you and for him to watch?
We've invested in Newark's children, the schools, and teachers. And those are long-term bets that need a number of years to really pan out. We've seen and learned how important it is to listen to the community and really get a sense of what they need and want. And it's a long journey.
Mark and Priscilla have been on their own long journey. They were married in 2012 in a small ceremony in their Palo Alto backyard, 9 years after meeting at a Harvard party. What was your first impression of him?
I thought he was just this really interesting guy who maybe wasn't that studious.
Really?
Yeah. On our first date, he told me that he'd rather go on a date with me than finish his take-home midterm. And the type A first child in me was appalled. I was like, what? You have to go home. But it turns out he was just trying to convince me to spend more time with him. And we've been growing up together ever since.
And growing their family. Their beloved sheepdog, Beast, even has his own Facebook page.
I hear there is another male in your life. He's hairy and possibly has bad breath. And his name is Beast.
That's insulting. His breath smells wonderful.
And how is Mark with the dog?
The dog is his second priority after Facebook.
Wait, where do you fall?
Probably after the dog. He spends probably 30 minutes every day talking to me whether or not, our dog is really happy and satisfied.
What do you think about the hoodie? Are you pro hoodie?
Oh, the hoodie. The hoodie it's okay. I'm pro hoodie. He wears a fresh hoodie every day, as long as it's appropriate for where we're going. So he can't wear it to weddings, but he can do whatever else he wants.
What Zuckerberg and Chan most want is to use their fortune to make their mark in the world.
I've seen you described as the First Lady of Facebook. I've seen you described as the Kate Middleton of Silicon Valley. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being extremely cringe-inducing and 1 being sort of flattering, where does that fall?
We're pretty close to a 10. That's just not how I see myself. I see myself as someone who's learning to work with kids and work as a doctor, and I do a lot of unglamorous things in my everyday life, and it's worth it to me.
I love her.
And to be clear, she's not even Mrs. Zuckerberg. She is Dr. Chan. She works really hard. She's passionate about her work and education. And it was cool to get to talk to her because everybody wonders about her. And this is the first time we really got to see her.
She's charming.
Very charming.
Now you know why he fell in love with her.
Absolutely.
And they're doing great things together.
Well, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg